What's going on, Beam Tribe? Nick here in Ottawa, and in this video, which is part of our new storytelling series, I'd like to share my story with meditation because it's a long drawn out journey, and in talking to people, I know a lot of people struggle with meditation or establishing a daily, consistent daily practice, right? Not just a once in a while practice, not just being a crisis meditator and doing it when shit falls apart. Actually having a daily meditation practice in your daily routine that you not only do because you think it's good for you, but you actually enjoy and find value out of doing. And so I think the average person, me included, believes that when you want to start meditating, you just start meditating and you can do it every day. But it's really hard. It's really hard to create a daily habit of something that really isn't talked about very much and has a very skewed perception. And I think we have these underlying assumptions around the topic of meditation or the tool of meditation, which is insanely powerful, as I've kind of learned over time. And it's taken me multiple attempts to try and establish a daily practice, even with a good understanding of how to build habits, how to create routines. I have a very structured life, and so slotting it into a section that is part of my everyday life, you'd think would be easy, but it wasn't. And so I want to share some of the things that I struggled with. I want to share some things that I wish I would have known to make me, to allow me to struggle less. And I'd like to share some of the big aha moments that I had regarding meditation, and what it is, and more importantly, what it isn't. Because changing those underlying assumptions about meditation was actually the biggest step forward to allowing me to actually not only endure a meditation practice every day because it's good for me, but actually enjoy and look forward to doing it, and finding it hard to miss a day because it's so valuable to me now. So meditation, I haven't meditated for that long. I haven't had a consistent meditation practice for that long. In fact, probably towards the end of 2019, September, October of 2019 was when meditation even first came on my radar, period. Before then, it wasn't even a thing. It wasn't even a thing I thought of. It wasn't a thing I really considered. And so it took me a while to kind of form a consistent practice with it. And it first came up from a friend of mine who has a fairly high stress job. He's in construction management and he manages massive projects. So he has a big stress load on himself. And he mentioned, I'm trying to meditate every day now because I think it's going to help me control my stress and be calmer under pressure. And I was like, oh, interesting. You meditate now. You're one of those people. And I had this picture in my brain of what meditation was and thought it was so uncharacteristic of this person. I was like, wow, if he can do it and he sees value in it, it's a very high energy type A person, who I value their opinion, right? When it comes to habits, and he's a good thinker. I was like, oh, maybe I should look into this. Like, why haven't I heard of this? It certainly wasn't brought up in physio school. It certainly wasn't on my radar in any health course that I had gone to, right? And I probably selected a certain type of course. But I knew the word meditation, I knew a bit of what it was, and I definitely knew there were some benefits, but I never understood the tool well enough to feel confident that I could start a practice. And so started looking into it, and some of the people I talked to said, the best way to meditate is to do 20 minutes in the morning or before you go to bed at night, and literally just sit there and take 20 minutes to yourself, be with your own thoughts, get a yoga cushion, and just try to stop thoughts from coming into your mind. That was the first piece of advice I got. 20 minutes, try and stop thoughts from coming into your mind. You want to hear something that's insanely hard to the point where I would argue it's impossible for the average person? Try and sit down for 20 minutes without letting thoughts come into your mind. Good luck. I will give you a gold medal if you're able to do that. It's really hard. And it just wasn't the right way to start a practice. It wasn't the right way for me it wasn't the right metric for me to try and work towards. Because big surprise, it was really hard. I got really discouraged. I failed miserably in getting around to doing it every day. And some things I told myself were, maybe I'm just not cut out to meditate, right? Which now I realize is like saying, maybe I'm not cut out to sleep. Actually, you are. It's really important. It's fundamental to mental health. And it's really worthwhile working on, just like sleep. I also told myself, well, I just don't have time to meditate. And what I've realized over time is anytime I say I don't have time for something, it really means I don't prioritize it, right? Or I don't enjoy it. That was another big one. Because we all make time for Instagram. We all make time for going out with friends if that matters to us. So we make time for things that we enjoy and things that matter to us. And at that point in time, I didn't enjoy meditation because I thought I sucked at it. And I didn't prioritize it enough because I had never actually gotten the positive effects from it, right? All I got were negative emotions, realizing how hard it is to sit down for 20 minutes and thought I just had a broken brain, because you'd think that an adult man that can run a company could sit down for 20 minutes and be okay, but I wasn't. So I had multiple attempts at trying to work on meditation, and then for some reason, I never actually researched meditation. I just thought it was something that we should innately be able to do. So I started to look into it and listening to a few people. I heard Sam Harris talk about it. I downloaded his Waking Up app, which was extremely powerful. Using that app was actually the first time that I got 30 days in a row of doing it every day for 10 minutes. They were guided meditations, which I found very helpful because they kind of ushered your brain into not going crazy, right? And you know, it's kind of like training wheels. I don't think a serious meditator uses a meditation app forever, but kids often learn how to bike with training wheels because it's like baby steps to get them towards riding a bike independently. An app or some sort of guided meditation, I think, is a really powerful form of training wheels that allow you to remove obstacles to creating a daily practice. So some of the things that I learned. Number one is that there's no wrong way of meditating. Okay, so stopping thoughts from coming in your mind is the last thing you want to try and focus on. In fact, what I've learned to be really valuable, and this is from Light Watkins, who wrote a book called Bliss More, which I recommend if you want to take your meditation practice seriously. That book actually gives you tools and techniques to use when meditating. Like one of his most powerful things was when you're starting out meditating, you don't have to sit in full lotus, right? One thing I really liked that he said was, when you're starting out meditating, the position you should choose is the same one that you choose when you're binge watching Netflix. Lie on the couch in terrible posture, do something that's insanely comfortable, because that takes your mind off of discomfort associated with trying to adopt some unnatural, like perfect posture, full lotus position, which is uncomfortable as shit if you don't have the mobility. But a lot of people think that that's the only way to meditate, me included. And even I have decent hip mobility, so I can just imagine for the average person, if they take that assumption, it's gonna suck, and you're not gonna wanna do things that suck. So make it comfortable. Know that the goal is not to have no thoughts, and to value every single thought that comes into your mind as valuable, right? As important, as something you need to process, which is why it's coming into your mind in the first place. So it's not about having no thoughts. There's no way of doing it wrong. Be comfortable. Sit down without a phone, without distractions, and just sit there. And whatever thoughts come into your mind, be patient with yourself and understand that those thoughts are there for a reason. And you just have to watch them sort of float by. It's almost like you're sitting on a riverbank and things float by, and those things are thoughts. So they come in, you acknowledge them. Okay, I'm thinking about filing my taxes next week. I'm not going to dwell on that and go deeper into that, but clearly it's on my mind. Okay, see you later. And it floats by. And then the next one comes. And it's kind of like you're clearing out your inbox, right? So you have a bunch of emails that are sort of backed up, that are clogging your inbox up, that you're not addressing, right? That you're procrastinating addressing. And when you sit down with your own thoughts, all these emails start getting processed, right? All these thoughts start coming through your mind. And the cool thing is eventually the emails run out, right? You clear the inbox out, there's no new messages. Eventually the waterfall of thoughts stop coming through, and you're left with sort of a bit of space where you don't have constant thoughts running through your brain, because your brain has processed them, right? If you're doing this consistently. And I think that's a really good analogy, because it allows you to be understanding with yourself and the fact that you're not bad at meditation. You have some stuff to process because you haven't actually done this before, right? And I think another reason I realized it was hard to meditate is that so much of our lives with technology now revolves around training us to crave distraction. Instagram is a distraction tool. music, podcasts. Some of them are good, but they're also distractions, right? And so if we've been training very consistently to get our minds to desire and crave distraction, it can be a little bit freaky to have no distractions, right? Because your mind doesn't know what to do. And it's like, well, I need something to tune into. I need something to pay attention to. And it gets away from being able to just pay attention to itself, which is very important. So initial tips for starters: do it in a comfortable position. Plug it into your day somewhere consistent that you can easily prioritize it. The morning for me is the best. My brain is in the best place to meditate. I literally get out of bed, take some vitamins and a couple of big swigs of water, and then I sit down for 15 minutes in a comfortable position and I just sit there. So that's my best time. It might not be your best time. I think at the start of the day, you tend to have more brain power to kind of sit with your thoughts. So I've tried it later in the day. It often gets pushed out because other things take priority. The morning is under my complete control. From 5 to 7 a.m. is my time. I don't look at my phone. I don't look at emails. I do movement, get water in me, do a bit of journaling, meditate, go for a walk, and then I'll start to look at my daily planner. And that's just my routine. But I think the morning is a really good slot because you have complete control over it, right? You can wake up 10 minutes earlier and put in 10 minutes of meditation or reflection time. So get comfortable. Know that it's not about having no thoughts, that the thoughts are valuable and they eventually run out. Light Watkins talks about this as the monkey mind phase, which lasts for varying amounts of times, but it eventually does end. Start really small. So even a 1-minute meditation period, or even just sitting down in a certain area of your home, but not even meditating, but just sitting there, doing the ritual of going there and taking the time at that point in the day to sit down, even if it's just a couple breaths and then you get up, you're starting to install that routine. And that's really important, right? If you want to do this, like no one wants to go on a meditation diet. You want to do a sustainable behavior change by uploading a daily meditation habit. So another big turning point for me was the fact that there's like a tipping point where you go from not really enjoying it, although when you switch the perception that you can't really screw it up, it becomes more enjoyable because every day you're doing it and showing up. That's how you're making progress in meditation, right? Showing up to do it consistently is actually progress. But you hit a point where it goes from being something that you endure because you know it's good for you to being something you enjoy, intuitively enjoy and look forward to because it makes you feel better, because it makes you more clear-headed. And when you get over that camel's hump, then the daily habit is essentially self-fulfilling, right? Positive emotions create habits, sustainable habits. And when you associate a positive emotion with the time that you take to do your mental fitness training or your mental self-care, then it becomes embedded. And at a certain point, you just prioritize it. So it's not something that gets crowded out. If you have to squeeze in a meeting, you say, I'm not available during that time because that is the time I set aside for myself to nourish my own brain so that I can then help other people nourish theirs, right? If you take care of yourself, you put yourself in the best position to then take care of others, because that's what most of us are trying to do, right? Help others, contribute positively either in our work or in our families. But if you don't take care of yourself first, you don't really leave any reserve capacity to help others. So find a deeper meaning in your meditation practice. Find something that aligns you with a sense of meaning and purpose in showing up every day and taking that 1 minute or 2 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 to just spend time with your own thoughts because it's really valuable. For probably about 3 months now, I've had a daily meditation practice. Haven't missed a day because I actually choose not to. It's not because I feel I have to. I actually love doing it. And now I'm looking forward to doing longer periods or on weekends doing longer periods to just play with it, right? You got to do your own meditation experiment. So hopefully this story, my story, some of those tips that I wish I would have known gives you more confidence to embark on your own meditation experiment. And what I would say is be consistent, be nice to yourself. It's going to be really hard at the start. But showing up every day and doing it, even if it's just for 5 seconds, going from 0 to 1 is such a profound change in long-term mental health, in your understanding of yourself, in your ability to regulate emotions and not get angry or be sad beyond the point that those emotions serve you. Like, it's a really powerful tool. But the only way you can really believe that is to prove it to yourself. So So I encourage you to try it. I wish you the best of luck. There is going to be a conversation thread underneath all the Beam Tribe videos, so you're more than welcome to put your input in. And we also want these story time, these story videos to include anyone in the tribe. So if you have a story that you think is valuable to share with the whole Beam Tribe community, to inspire them, or to share similar things to me, just obstacles that you found and ways that you overcame them, please submit them. beamtribeteam@gmail.com. Submit them. The team would love to see them. And we're grateful for anyone willing to share their stories and be vulnerable and let everyone know that they're not alone in their struggle. This is what this whole tribe is about, is sharing and supporting each other and inspiring each other to make daily improvements. So thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful, and I'll catch you later.